Coming up, we've been hearing from more condo owners in Tirasana who are scrambling to find property insurance after their policies were abruptly canceled.
New ADUs towering over single-family homes in the College area. Neighbors are upset and the developer says more housing is needed.
SDG&E bills expected to drop dramatically in February, while some customers say they're still frustrated.
While you're at work all day, send your dog on a Precious Pet Care excursion. We ride the Magic Pink Bus.
CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts now.
More than 300 condo owners in Tirasana are scrambling to find property insurance right now after Farmers Insurance canceled their policy because of wildfire risk. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. The owners are trying to find insurance now on the secondary market, which is much more expensive. CBS 8's David Grofton is working for you on this and joins us live from Tirasana.
We're out here live in front of the Via Monterey Clubhouse, and people are literally lining up to get into this town hall meeting tonight. We started working on this issue earlier this week after several residents emailed us with a lot of concerns and questions.
I'm a senior citizen living on a fixed income, and I have a budget. That's how I survive.
Allison Brenner and more than 300 other condo owners in the Via Monterey complex in Tirasana are worried they might have to move out because they can't afford property insurance to cover wildfire risk.
Right now, I'm not a wage earner. I'm 74 years old, and I can't go out and get a job to supplement this income, and I live alone.
Farmers Insurance recently decided not to renew a $127 million insurance policy that covers property and wildfire damage for the entire complex. Farmers also recently canceled policies for a 240-unit condo complex in Rancho Penasquitos and a 338-unit complex in Rancho Bernardo. It all comes down to wildfire risk.
Since 2017, the insurance carriers have paid out like 2 times what the Northridge earthquake cost.
Kimberly Lilly is an insurance agent who advocates for condo owners through a trade group called the Community Associations Institute. She says large insurance companies like Farmers recently updated their modeling programs that assess wildfire risk, and as a result, they are dumping out of the market.
It's heightened risk. There's no doubt, based on the catastrophe modeling, that wildfires cost more every time they happen now.
Lilly says one possible solution: separate off wildfire insurance from the main property insurance policy.
Wildfire would be very much like an earthquake. It would be a catastrophic coverage that you can opt in for or out of.
And then create higher deductibles for the wildfire policy.
So instead of the normal $5,000 or $10,000 deductible, they would say for wildfire, it's a $25,000, $50,000, even $100,000 deductible that then they could price a very low policy for. That association could be covered for everything they need to be covered for.
In Tirasana, the Condo Association is now shopping the open market for a new policy that could cost each condo owner an extra $7,000 per year.
Now that I'm retired, I should be happy, go lucky, and enjoying life. And right now, this is a terrible burden on me.
As we say, the town hall meeting is underway here at the clubhouse. One possible solution that the residents are discussing would be to make the individual condo owners pay for their own property insurance unit by unit, as opposed to one huge blanket policy that covers the entire complex. But to make that change, the residents would have to vote to change the bylaws of the association.
David, you're painting a pretty concerning picture right here. Is it just Farmers Insurance that's not renewing policies on those large condominium complexes right now, or is this happening with other insurance carriers as well?
Well, let me say, first of all, I have reached out to Farmers Insurance for the past 2 days, and they did not respond to any of my questions. The experts I spoke with said because Farmers is such a big insurance company, once they start canceling policies, it certainly does seem to affect a lot of condo owners.
Situation we need to keep an eye on. David Goffredson reporting live for us. Thanks, David.
Students at Lincoln High School in Lincoln Park are protesting after an alleged sexual assault. This is the scene a few hours ago when more than 50 students gathered out front on Imperial Avenue holding signs and chanting. Students tell CBS 8 that one student raped another student earlier this month and that the alleged suspect is still being allowed to go to school.
The San Diego Unified School District released a statement today saying they support the right to assemble and that, quote, all allegations are taken seriously and are investigated. Because there is an ongoing investigation by law enforcement that involves students, we cannot comment on details of the situation.
Right now, you're looking at a car that was involved in a police chase a few hours ago, which ended in Encanto. San Diego police tell us it started at Market Street near the 805. They say officers tried to stop the car with New Mexico plates because it was related to a case involving an assault with a deadly weapon. But they say the driver took off, leading police on the 805 and State Route 54 before exiting on Woodman Street. Police deployed spike strips to finally stop the car on 68th Street. Officers say they detained 2 people, the driver and a passenger, and they also found firearms inside the car. Federal prosecutors will not seek the death penalty for a man accused of killing his 2 young children in Mexico because he thought they had serpent DNA in them.
This was a horrible story. 42-year-old Matthew Coleman confessed to shooting his 10-month-old daughter and 2-year-old son with a spear gun back in August of 2021 before leaving their bodies on the side of the road in Rosarito. According to search warrants obtained by CBS 8, the Santa Barbara man was obsessed with QAnon conspiracy theories and feared the children would grow up to become lizard people. No date has been set for his trial.
More people could be charged in connection to the killing of Tyree Nichols. 5 former police officers are already facing second-degree murder charges. 2 more officers were relieved of duty yesterday, and the Memphis Fire Department has fired 2 paramedics and a lieutenant for not following policies and protocol.
Everything that could go wrong seems to have gone wrong in this circumstance.
Nichols' family and attorneys are holding a news conference this evening to address the latest developments. A public funeral for Nichols is set for tomorrow. Vice President Kamala Harris says she will attend, along with the Reverend Al Sharpton and other civil rights activists.
Homeowners in the College area are frustrated tonight by the number of granny flats they're seeing built in their neighborhood.
CBS 8's Brian White talked with neighbors about their concerns and a developer who's building some of the accessory dwelling units, also known as ADUs, right there on their street.
Here in the College East area, neighbors don't like what they're seeing. Accessory dwelling units, or ADUs like this one, are popping up more and more, and they say it's changing the character of the community.
This is what's going up behind our property.
Joe Newsom has lived here in College East for 25 years, and he doesn't think these ADUs being constructed are a good fit for this neighborhood.
It's going to be an increase in the number of people per property, the amount of parking, traffic, noise.
Across the street in front of Joe's house, the same thing is happening by the same developer who originally bought this single-family home. Now, 3 separate 2-story ADU structures are being built on the same property for a total of 6 units added here.
It means the integrity of this neighborhood that I'm in is going to get ruined.
Dave Nicolai calls these ADUs glorified apartment buildings and says regular families don't stand a chance when bidding for homes.
They outbid them, and then they build 8 units and 20 cars. I don't know how they can get away with it.
He took me into the backyard of a home next door that's owned by a 93-year-old woman who now has a shadow cast over her garden.
You see how ominous this is? It just towers over her house.
So this is our 1-bedroom unit.
Daniel Shkolnick is the developer adding these accessory dwelling units here. He's taking advantage of the city's ADU bonus program. The way it works, in a transit priority area, for every deed-restricted moderate income ADU he builds, he can add an additional market rate ADU.
We're out of land, and so the only way we can really solve this affordability housing crisis is by repurposing existing land.
ADUs under 750 square feet are exempt from certain certain development impact fees. Neighbors think that's unfair.
Where are they all going to park? This whole area is just going to be aligned with cars.
Shkolnick says this property will have 5 to 6 off-street parking spaces, and he says most of the same rules such as setbacks and height limits are the same for his ADUs as they are for the single-family homes around them.
The only difference is we're able to add more doors and house more people with the same amount of square footage.
In College East, Brian White, CBS 8.
Thanks, Brian. The city of San Diego now has millions of dollars in new funding to help fight homelessness in the East Village. The city council approved the use of a $2.45 million grant that had been awarded to the city. This money came from the Encampment Resolution Funding Program back in October. It will go toward placing people into long-term housing and subsidizing short-term bridge housing.
The Chula Vista City Council is holding a special session tonight to fill the vacant District 3 seat.
10 candidates are still in the running. If the city council is unable to decide on a candidate by February 3rd, they will then hold a special election to fill the seat. People we spoke to at last week's special session said they want a special election so that their voices are heard.
You've decided that you're just going to pick who you think is the right person in a district you don't even live in.
How could you possibly know the candidates? The community has not had the opportunity to vet the applicants.
District 3 covers the southeast area of the Chula Vista city, which includes Paseo Ranchero and Otay Ranch.
Much more still ahead for you. The White House says it's going to end the COVID-19 health emergencies, what that might mean for most Americans.
We got lots of sunshine out there, at least we had earlier today, and also some high clouds that are streaming through. But what's in store for the rest of the week? Details ahead.
Also in our Reiner Report, a new California campaign wants to ensure everyone has food on the table.